I have been pretty clear on my feelings about the Montreal Canadiens drafting. I don't really think that they've drafted that good over the past. Well, that's actually not true. I want to reverse that. They've drafted a number of pretty good players, and I actually do like some of their draft picks, right? But there's some times where the Canadians make really weird picks, like Kotkaniemi, for example, or Slafkovsky. I don't know why, but when they drafted Slav, I was listen. I didn't think he was going to be a horrible player by any means. I still do think he is some level of top six player. I just didn't think that he was good enough to go first overall. And I truly do think when you have a first overall pick, whether you win or lose in that pick, you just have to swing for the fences. So even if you whiff on a pick, I will swing for the fences all day for the guy with the highest skill and the biggest game breaking ability. When I cover the draft on this channel, the number one thing that you're going to hear me say is game breaking ability. I can't stand it when teams go after, he might be a third liner one day. It's like, who cares about a third liner? You can find a third liner unless he's a center somewhere else. What you're looking for in the draft is to swing for the fences. You're trying to have the best draft picks available, and you're just going to trust your scouting staff to find you the best players. And anyways, long story short, I'm just not a huge Slafkovsky fan. Me personally, I would have drafted Logan Cooley. I think Logan Cooley's really, really good. He's close to a point per game this year. Like, I understand Utah sucks. They suck terribly. It's not like Logan Cooley would make the Montreal Canadiens an unbelievable team, but I think he has like a really, really, really high ceiling. And recently, Juraj Slafkovsky actually seems to agree because he has sounded off on his productions, and he does not seem very happy about it, and understandably so. He didn't hesitate to say what is going on. He even went as far to call his season an embarrassment. Now, I don't really like when players say stuff like this. I think that when you say stuff like this, you're going to lose your confidence, and I think it's a little bit silly. So I don't want when a hockey player loses his confidence like this, it can get really, really bad. I think that this is what we're seeing with Elias Pettersson in Vancouver as well. You don't want your players to lose confidence, so obviously it's a little bit tough to hear him say this. Now, Slav actually, he ended last season. I think it was like 30 points in 30 games. Like, he really had a really good season. Now, I remember myself saying that, okay, guys, let's wait until he comes back for the next season. I really want to see how he performs in a full season. Because, listen, Canadians fans are going to have expectations of him to perform, right? They're going to have expectations of, like, listen, you're a first overall pick. We don't need you at the end of a season. We need you to keep us up in the season. So it was good last season, but I was a little bit skeptical. He even described it that he had 30 points in 30 games, and then he said, quote, and then to come out here and play like it's junior hockey is what I'm reading. It's like, wow. Obviously, this player has kind of lost their confidence. So it sucks to hear that. I'm not going to play the violin too much for a rich NHL player, but obviously it's not what you want to hear when a player isn't confident. He said that I've been thinking about this for 2 weeks and I have to change something. Interesting quote, right? Like, obviously, this is really, really plaguing him. Now, this isn't actually something new from Slafkovsky. He's always been like this. He's always been too hard on himself. He kind of reminds me of, like, the forward version of Jack Campbell. Do you guys remember Jack Campbell would, like, he would almost want to, he was just crazy hard on himself, and it's kind of the same thing with Slafkovsky. Now, to be fair to Slafkovsky, he is about 16 minutes and 52 seconds average time on ice. It's about that. I looked up, and I'll put it up on the screen for you. That isn't as much as you want him to get. He's down about a full minute from last year. Last year, he was almost flirting with about 18 minutes average time on ice. So that is obviously going to impact his production a little bit too. But it's the old adage of, hey, I want more ice time to the coach. And then the coach is saying, yeah, but you got to perform better when you're out there. Right? Now, to be fair, though, Slafkovsky's probably just being just as hard on himself anyway, so I doubt the coach even needs to say that. He seems like a kind of a forward that needs to be coddled a little bit, unfortunately. I'm not a huge fan of players like that, but it is what it is. Now, I understand that the Canadians are still probably grinding away, thinking that they can make the playoffs. I just do not see this team making the playoffs. I think they're 5 points back right now. I just straight up do not see this team making the playoffs, not as they're currently constructed. Maybe if they can make some moves in the offseason, but, I don't know about you guys. What do you guys think about the current Canadians? What changes would you like to see them make? Now, if you're a fan of Slafkovsky, the good news is that the Canadians are not making him available for the trade deadline. By the way, it is on March 7th. Follow along. I'm going to be certainly making a video and some shorts. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen here. I'm really interested to see what the Canadians are going to do specifically. I mean, they have a couple of players. A Savard going. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of assets they're going to be able to get back. But who knows? I mean, it does seem like a seller's market, right? Hey, also give some credit to Slafkovsky. Did you see him go? I think it was Ridley Gregg. He stomped him pretty pretty good. So hey, the kid's got some passion, and honest to goodness, man, I will always respect that from players if they have the passion. You need the passion to win. Now, one player, though, that I will say, just to touch on last about the Montreal Canadiens, is Evans. I'm interested to see exactly where he ends up. I believe he's a pending UFA, so you can imagine that the Montreal Canadiens will absolutely trade him. I'm interested in one thing. What kind of value does this player get? Can he get you... I'm wondering if he can get them a second-round pick. I'm telling you, the Montreal Canadiens are probably going to ask for a first-round selection. I know that's going to... I don't think he's worth a first-round selection, but I'm telling you right now, if you can play center, you're going to have a lot more value than you think in the National Hockey League March 7th trade deadline. Anyways, I am going to leave this video there. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate that. And make sure to have a great day, guys. Goodbye.